All right, folks, we're back on the Bossman Show, friend of the show, Coach Johnny Tower, the St. Thomas Tommies, doing great things out of some league. Coach, how you doing today up there in Minneapolis, man? St. Paul area, man.
Hey, we're doing great. Good to see you, my friend. I love being back on your show. Respect what you do. And hey, it's life's beautiful. Mid-January, it's about 3 degrees outside and living the dream.
I hear that, Coach. You can't complain, man. Coach, you're doing great things with your team, man. 14-5, 8-0 at home, 4-0 in conference play, the summer league. So, Coach, what's been the key for your season this year? Started off 14-5, defending the home court, man. So, what's kind of been the key for you guys this year, Coach?
Yeah, thank you. Appreciate the kind words. It's been a fun season. We jumped from D3 to D1 3.5 years ago, and so this is our fourth year in Division One. We went from 10 wins to 19 wins to 20 wins the first 3 years, and feel like we're just continuing to progress. I'm really proud of our guys, the way the veterans have developed, and they're leading us. We got some guys who've been with us 3 and 4 years now in Division One. We've also got a good crew of young guys. We got 9 freshmen, 5 true freshmen, and 4 redshirt freshmen. So we're kind of in this interesting phase of like getting those guys worked in, but I think just our culture has been really, really strong. Making this jump from Division 3 to Division One, it's a unique story, as you know. And we're led by Drake Dobbs, a point guard who, local kid. He started the last 2 years for us. Kendall Blue started the last 3 years, and so those are two of our veterans who are doing a phenomenal job leading us. And then we got another Division 3 transfer, Miles Barnstable, who's leading us in scoring. Actually, he came from Wisconsin Whitewater. So those three guys, we've had a lot of guys do tremendous work. But when I look at being 14-5 early in the year, and the conference is still just in its infancy, but love coaching this group. It's a fun story. If you haven't watched us, we play up tempo. We're scoring 86 points a game, and got a lot of guys who can pass and shoot.
Coach, of course, I watch your ESPN Plus, Coach. I'm watching you, Coach. I gotta make sure you see what you guys are doing, man. I gotta keep an eye on you, Coach. And I'll tell you what, man. Most people who transition aren't successful as you all are. So, Coach, what's been the key to you all's success here, your D1 transition process? Because I feel like a lot of times going from D2 to D1 is hard for schools, but you went D3 to D1, and you've been having some success here since you've been doing this. Look here, year 4 here, 14-5.
Well, it's been a wild journey. I mean, I coached Division 3 basketball for 21 years. Loved it. We made this jump, and this is where I played. So this is a school that's very near and dear to my heart. And we didn't know how it was going to go. I talked to a lot of D2 coaches around the country who had made the jump, but nobody knew the D3 to D1 jump. And I think the first thing we did in year one was really double down on our culture. And we said, we're not going to necessarily, we brought in a few transfers, we had to, but we started the same 5 kids in year one. 6 months earlier, they were playing Division 3 basketball. And so I think that was a big part of it. That first year, we won 10 games. Every time we won a game, it was like winning the Super Bowl. But those kids understood our culture and our values. And so I think that part, we emphasize that, frankly, more than winning. And winning, I think, has been a byproduct in these following years. But I'm so grateful. Those guys that first year, those 9 guys who made the jump from D3 to D1, they were so tough and fearless and really passed on our culture. And now we've got guys like Ben Now and Ryan Dufault who are in their fourth year with us in Division One, but they actually learned from those Division 3 guys in that first season. So I think that's been a big part of it. Our style, I think we're really comfortable how we play. We shoot a lot of threes. We got skilled, smart guys who play tough. I mean, you see up my wall behind me, unselfish, smart, skilled, tough. That's what we try to pride ourselves on. And our guys are just they play with a lot of competitive joy. So if you watch us play, it's a little different. We're not the biggest team in the country. We struggle rebounding some wise, but our guys play really hard and really together.
And coach, with me being 5'11", I could play for you because I was about shooting threes and hustling and playing above my height. So like I said, coach, the way you play is near to my heart. I know I feel in your system, and I love what you guys do, how hard you guys play. And because I feel like this coach, like you said, process everything, coach. That process, like winning will come if the process is right. Having the right habits every day, you'll eventually crack and get those W's. That's why my father instilled in us when we played for him was your habits, the process, not so much win losses, but will come if you do it the right way.
Hey, you might be a power forward for us. You'll laugh. We got a 5'10". He used to be a walk-on. He's not anymore. Ryan Dufault. He's our backup point guard. We have him on the inside of some free throws because he's such a good rebounder. And it's like we don't have a bunch of huge guys. So It's like, hey, let's figure out who goes to get the ball. So you might be on the inside on free throw rebounds if you were playing for us.
I was coach, even if I was, because I got that football bill still. So
Mm-hmm.
I'm on the basketball court. I said that football broadening. So yeah, I would be on the inside for you, no doubt, coach. And coach, man, like you mentioned, your 3-point shooter, coach, 40%, man, from three. That's so important to shoot that well from three. That spacing, making defenses be stressed, spread them out. Talk about how key that is to what you do, that being playing fast, but also spreading the guys out the spacing 40% from three. That's amazing.
Well, it's interesting because we've always shot a lot of threes. We take close to 30 a game. But what's interesting is we're also one of the leading 2-point shooting teams in the country. I think we're top 30 in the country in threes, twos, and free throw percentage. So we're really fortunate to have a lot of guys. They're gym rats. They can shoot it at different levels. My associate head coach, Mike Maker, who runs our offense, he's the guy that coached Duncan Robinson at Williams College when Duncan was a Division III shooter. And then he was the head coach at Marist. But he does a phenomenal job with our offense. And it's really, if you watch us play, I think our leading score is probably 14 points a game, but I think we got 8 guys who score between 6 and 14 a game. And so it really, part of what makes us good is I think our guys all embrace that nobody's going to score 20 points a game, but we're just going to move the ball. We're going to make the extra pass. And I think our depth allows us to play really, really hard, not just on defense, but also on offense, which shows up in, I think, our 2-point numbers and getting to the basket, getting to the free throw line.
No doubt, coach. And like I see, man, hey, coach, I'm asking you, how did you use that break that you had in December to kind of rest and reset your guys? Because we have players that have depth that you have. You want to keep guys fresh. So how about that week you had off to kind of refocus yourself and the staff, kind of self-scout and get guys rest and get them ready for this run you're on right now?
Yeah, well, it's interesting you say that because we had final exams, so we were playing really well. I think we had won 5 straight games, and then we had final exams and went to Bowling Green, like the day we finished finals, and we had a good game there, good road win, and then we came back, but we only had about 3 days off, and then we came back and we were going to Cal Riverside. So we actually the break, I think it prepared us well for conference. We ended up losing, so we've won 10 of our last 11. The one we lost was at Cal Riverside in overtime. It was a wild game, great game. They're really good, well coached. But I thought that game coming out of Christmas, it sort of jolted our system a little bit. We shot 8 for 32 on threes. We were not our best, and some of that's Riverside's really good. But I thought that prepared us well for conferences, having that game right after the holidays. We probably didn't get as long of a break, but we kind of jumped right back into it because it is hard. You know this when you can be playing really well and you take a long break and all of a sudden you come back and it's just not quite the same, right? The kids have dealt with final exams, travel home to see their family. A little break when you're in a rhythm, 3 days off, even you come back and those first couple of days are tough. And so it's every college coach struggles. And we got Thanksgiving and Christmas right in the middle, kind of the non-conference and starting the conference season. And I don't know the right way to do it. We all stress about it. And the end of the day, you just kind of go play, and we have pretty mature guys, and I think they got better from that Riverside game, honestly.
I can recall, coach, I was 1-3 after the break. We got blown out twice after the Christmas break. I can recall that still to this day, coach. I remember very much what happened. Yeah, you're right, coach. We practiced 2 days and then played that Thursday. It didn't matter. We tried just do 1-day prep. Didn't matter.
Mm-hmm.
It's just when you said, coach, you're in that rhythm. You go home, you come back, and it's just you got to get it back again.
Yeah, it's going to take a couple of days. You just know that, and you try to do it in a way that's not going to get guys injured. You want them to have time with their family. You want them to de-stress after final exam. So it's a lot when you think about it. And with 9 freshmen, you start thinking about all that they had been to for 4 months, and we wanted them to have a little time, but it's like you jump back in, and then we started the conference season at North Dakota State, at North Dakota, home against South Dakota State, South Dakota. So 4 of the better teams in our league, and we're fortunate to be 4-0 right now. But those were games that you put a big emphasis on, and you also know coming out of the holidays, every team's struggling with it, and you're just trying to get little winning edges anywhere you can. You try to get a couple points here or there because a lot of conference games are going to come down to that last possession or two.
And coach, in your non-conference schedule, you had a lot of great games on the schedule. close games. And you and I both know you can't really replicate that and practice the right way unless you have the pressure of referees and other color jerseys. So how good was it to get your guys' experience in close games, executing late, and come out on the right side of those things most of the time. And now as you get in conference play, they've had that experience before. It's not going to be new to them now.
Yeah, it was huge. Last year we graduated several seniors, six seniors, but three of them are starting front court. Raheem Anthony, who was an all-conference player, Parker Bjorklund was an all-conference player, and Brooks Allen, who was like our glue guy and leader. And all three of them started as Division III players. So they were sort of the end of that era of guys who had helped usher us in from D3 to D1. And they played a ton of minutes. And so to lose your 3, 4, 5 men, two of whom were all conference and one who knew everything about our program inside and out, we thought there were going to be some growing pains early in the year. I'd be lying if I said I thought we'd be 14-5. You expect to win every game, but frankly, we knew there'd be some growing pains. And going to Arizona State, going to Oklahoma State, I thought those were great games for us. Just the physicality and the speed, how good those teams are. And we competed well in both games. They're different types of teams, so I thought those were good. We went to and we live on the road. You know how it is in mid-major basketball. And so we went to Milwaukee. We were in NMT there and played close game with Milwaukee, close game with Wofford, and played Portland State and played really well that day. So there were, if I were to tell you the first month of November, I mean, we were 4-4 at one point, and I really felt I wasn't unhappy with our record. We'd played a tough schedule. I thought we were getting better, but I thought, at that point, 4-4, you go back and now having won 10 of 11, I thought that was sort of the turning point where you learn some lessons. We've never turned the ball over a lot, and we were turning the ball over a lot 8 games in. Our stats guy the other day said in the month of December, we had the fewest turnovers in the whole country in Division I. And so our young guys, I think, have really learned. And like you said, you can't just learn that from practice or scrimmaging. Like there's something about games and being on TV and stat sheets at the end of it. And that stuff doesn't lie. And all of a sudden the consequences are a little bit different. So I'm really proud of how our guys have, I think, taken the lessons from those first 8 games, primarily games on the road, and really put those into action now the last 11 games with a really nice stretch here.
And yeah, valuing the ball is everything, coach. You and I both know that, man. You only have 10 turnovers a game, which is great. It just because you just don't have them live ball turnovers. That's the one that would make my dad and go crazy. It was a live ball turnovers, man. Like you don't want to have those, but limiting that, taking care of the ball, you have a chance to set your defense and actually just control the pace your way about giving them easy runouts. And you don't want that, of course.
You got it. On my other wall right up there, you can't see it. It says value the ball, value your teammates. So all 4 walls have things that are, when you coach as long as I have, you accumulate a bunch of different sayings that our players start getting tired of. But that is one that, if you don't value the ball here, you're just not going to play. People always ask us why we turn the ball over so rarely. We try to recruit smart players who are tough and skilled. And then we try to play the ones who are taking care of the ball. And our guys have done a really, really good job of that month of December and January.
I think Coach Tower, the young guys sometimes try to do too much. Whether it's make the simple read. The read is there. Just read it, But they think too much and they want to just, make a play. But when you got guys who are secure there in their games and within the system, they just make the simple read and just go with the flow and not try to do too much outside of the system and the read.
No question. I think, and young players, and it's understandable, right? As part of what we're trying to do as coaches is educate young people to make good decisions. Well, most of them were the best player on their high school team growing up. And so they probably were asked to make some risky plays and they had to do a little bit more. And all of a sudden you get to college, you look around, there's 15 other guys and every one of them was the best player in his high school team. Well, you don't have to take those same risks. So I think you're spot on that the risk reward analysis and getting young players to understand that a lot of times less is more, and just making the simple play. Coach Maker calls it cheese pizza and vanilla ice cream. He's like, that's how I want us to play. Cheese pizza, vanilla ice cream. I don't want supreme pizza with all the toppings. I don't want all the flavors of ice cream. Just do the simple thing over and over and over again. And the players that embrace that, they don't look at that as boring. They look at that as aspiring to excellence. I think those are the guys that, whether it's making the jump from high school to college to the professional level, you see it every day in the NBA like that. Those are the guys that do well in the NBA, the ones that just repeatedly are doing the same thing the right way day after day after day.
And Coach Tower, how do you approach this week off where you don't play the Saturday, so how do you kind of approach giving the guys some time off a little bit, rest their bodies, but also going hard in practice and preparing for Denver? And Coach Wilbur, who does a great job out there in Denver. So how you gonna approach this week a little bit with having some days off, not having a game week this time? Kind of just get
It,
ready for Saturday.
and it is the way the Summit League lines up. We get two of these opportunities where you just get a little bit longer stretch. So we were off on Sunday. We'll practice today and tomorrow. And go pretty hard. Wednesday we'll be off, and then Thursday we'll get going with Denver. So it's nice to have a couple days, self-scout, really get back to the basics, right? I've got a long list of things, probably a dozen things that there's been a little slippage, and so we got to tighten those up. Some of it's just reminders, right? Depending on who you've been playing, you may have gotten away from your core in terms of whether it's offense or defense. And so I'm excited for today and tomorrow in practice to just really focus on us, and then Denver's coming in on Saturday night. We've got a great home crowd, so it should be a lot of fun. And Jeff always does a tremendous job with his team. So this week is a good one for learning. And then, that doesn't happen again for probably a month. So we got to make the most of it.
It's funny, Coach, looking at your conference, seeing Coach Joe Esposito. I was his basketball camp as a 4-year-old, Coach.
You went to Coach Joe. I've known Joe since he was with Tubby Smith at Minnesota.
Yes.
Kansas City is picked preseason #1. They're picked to win our conference. They've got an incredibly talented roster. Marvin does an unbelievable job, and he's been such a good addition to the conference. So yeah, Kansas City is they're the real deal. They got probably 6 or 7 guys who can go off for 20, 25 points any night.
Coach, I remember I have 2 medals, Coach Miss Camp. Free throws and knockout champion. I have Coach.
So where was that? Where was Coach's camp?
At Tennessee State when he was with Coach Allen.
Okay.
Yeah, I went up there for camp because my dad went there, so I went up there for camp as a youngster. So I met Anthony Mason, Carlos Rogers, all those guys at the camp, and that's why I went there because my dad went there, and I met Coach Joe and Coach Allen, and that relationship with them to this day still. But I remember I won those medals for knockout, and I won it for free throws. 7, 8-year-old group.
Those are fun memories, right? I still remember the first basketball camp I went to, and we still run a lot. I've run camps here for 30 years at St. Thomas. To be connected in the community, and you think about you remembering that all these years later. I remind our players that all the time, that when you're coaching camp, the impact you can have on a kid, just the right comment on the right day, can really not just change a kid's day or that week, but it can really change the way he looks at life, whether it's his hopes, his dreams. And so I'm glad you brought that up, because camp is something we've continued to do even in Division I. Not as many Division I programs probably have camps as they used to, and it's one of the highlights of my year, is just seeing young kids, having dreams, whatever those dreams end up being. We tell them it might not be basketball for all of you, right? You're not all going to play pro ball, but learning how to dream and learning how to set goals, learning how to be a great teammate. Those are all the skills that I think we believe that basketball can teach. And then wherever they go and end up, hopefully they take those with them.
And you know what? It was funny at Lake Point this year, Coach Tower. Coach Joe was there. And something. This is one of my campers. He was so happy to tell other coaches at Lake Point this summer that I was one of his campers. It was just funny. And also another coach I went to camp with was Randy Peel. He was there too. And it was so funny. But me and Coach Peel, I actually helped him with the camp. That's how I came full circle. I went from a camper helping him coach the camp. So it's funny how those basketballs is a small world, how those things happen. But it was funny to see both of Coach Joe and Coach Peel at Lake Point, but me knowing I was both on that campus at one time.
That's awesome. Those are fun memories, and I'm sure Coach Joe appreciated that.
No doubt. And Coach Tower, you're right, man. Like for me, campus what gave me. I went to Hawks camp too, different NBA camps. It's like my dad kept me in camp all super long, and that's what helped me get better. But I just love that being around coaches who, like you said, poured into us young kids. Want us to be better like yourself. So I feel like having camp is very important. I hate that more schools don't do it, but it helps the children out. It gives them something to look forward to. It gives them an idea of going to a college. This is what college can be and give me a degree, so we can look at it that way too. But I wish more schools would do it, and rather than make it about money or time, let's really do it to pour it back into their communities.
Yeah, we just had a camper night on Saturday after a game against South Dakota. So all our players stayed. They signed autographs and the posters for the kids, and there was a line, hundreds of kids along. Those to me are fun nights, because it really represents, we all want to win, but you start thinking about communities, and if we can get kids to camp in the summer and they think about going to college, they come watch our games. We get great support and a home court advantage. To me, that's one of those virtuous cycles that you just kind of want to build, and it's not easy to do. It takes a lot of work. It takes a lot of time, but when you play the right way, I think I'm biased, but I think we have one of the coolest stories in all of college basketball, and our guys are so easy to cheer for because they're really good students. We had a 3.2 GPA in the fall. 6 of our 16 guys are on the dean's list, 3.5 or higher, and so my boss Phil Eston, who's been remarkable in kind of leading us through this journey from D3 to D1. He came from Penn State, but he's a St. Thomas alum, and he talks a lot about comprehensive excellence with our athletes, and so that's competition in the classroom, in the community, and then your character, the 4 C's. And so that's something that is really important to us. And I think our players embrace it. They understand they're coming here not just to play basketball, but to get a great education and to be a member of the community where we're going to build and enhance everything around us.
You're right about that, Coach. I will tell you this, Coach. If it wasn't for sports, I don't know if I would went to college, but I'm thankful for all you guys who poured into me to make me want to do that. So, and I'm using my degree now. My degree's in business. I'm using it right now to have my own radio show. So it's doing. I think the college thing was good for me, Coach.
That's really cool. No, I've always enjoyed being on your show. Your energy, your joy for life and for sports and people, it's contagious. And that's at the end of the day, that's part of why all of us get into this, I hope, right? Yeah, we all want to win championships and compete for the, whatever level you're at, compete at the highest level. But the relationships, the people, the stories, and just the growth that you see kids have, right, at every single level. It's certainly sports can be a part of something bigger, and when done well, I think the power of them, the impact is remarkable.
No doubt. But Coach Tower, I was going to have you on the show, Coach. You've been on the show 5 times now, Coach. So it's been great to have you over the 5th time, man. It's always a pleasure.
Hey, I love talking to you. I hope I'll see you again at Lake Point this summer, and maybe I'll see you when you're in town with the Hawks here coming up next week.
Hopefully so, Coach. Look forward to it, man.
Thank you. Appreciate it.